Welcome everybody. Happy Friday, by the way. Today we are going to cover a really interesting topic that is how to 10x your reps. So this is something really challenging for most of you that have been working in the lead gen space. Probably you know that the reps tasks are really important when you try to generate more leads. So we want you to give you superpowers so you can increase the amount of revenue that you give to your company. And if you're managing reps, probably this also can be really interesting for you because you're gonna know how you can start helping them to achieve the results and increase achieve their quota and increase their results. Today, as always, we're gonna start discussing about Clay. We're gonna chat about different AI tools and solutions that help you to. Okay. So I don't think Mark will be joining us today, so we can start. Are you seeing like my screen is popping up and disappearing, or it's just me? Okay, I'm seeing it. Okay, it's available. All right, so it's something on my end. Sorry for that, but I can see the screen on one of my monitor, but the other one is blank. Anyways, I can see it though. So, first question for you guys: if you're managing a team, have you ever experienced any of these situations? Your rep ask you to stop billing on admin tasks, qualified leads using different criteria, wasting a lot of time on hours of sourcing new leads instead of nurturing leads that you already have. Complain about not achieving quota. I mean, if you have been there, if you're a rep as well and you experience any of these things, probably this workshop is for you because we're gonna discuss about how you can start achieving the quota by decrease the amount of tasks that you do, and of course, being able to be more effective to your company. And if you're managing a team, you will realize how you can start helping them to achieve better results. All right, so in the meantime, if you want to share your experience in the chat, I'll be happy to read it and also share with the other audiences. And today, this is a community. I mean, every time we are hosting these workshops, we try to make our community more knowledgeable and as well share experiences. So if you have any experience at all, share it in the chat. I will really appreciate it. So for the ones that don't know who we are, with Mark, we are the founders of Automate RevOps. Our company is specialized in helping companies to enable and to implement AI solutions to improve their GTM motions, to improve their RevOps motions using different AI automation tools like Clay, for instance, that we are one of the few Clay Advanced Artisan Solution partners that specialize also on training and enablement. So we really trust that the best way to approach this is not only by deploying system, but also empowering the people inside the company to be able to manage their workflow inside. So it's not something like you only hire like a black box delivering you results, but also you are able to manage it, improve it, and of course you're gonna make it more efficient for your own company, have more control over it. So in our path, we have helped a lot of revenue leaders. We have generated more than 160 millions in pipeline, and we have a huge community in our newsletter, in our LinkedIn profiles, followers, as well during these workshops and in our Slack community. If you'd like to join our Slack community as well, here's a link for you. Just click on that link and you will have access to our Slack community. All right, so my promise for you guys today is that we're going to show you a proven framework to recover your reps' time. And you're going to see this conversation starter template. It's actually a workflow they're going to build together today that you can use on LinkedIn for your whole team and start delivering results in probably just a few hours. So that's my promise for you. I really expect that you get a lot of value from this workshop, and if you do, please leave us a feedback, a recommendation, and so on in our page. You will receive later an email. So the main issue here that we're going to face tackling this problem is that the problem is not your reps. Most of the cases is your systems. 70% of the reps' time, on average, across the company that we have been working on, is spent on data-intensive tasks like sourcing leads, qualifying leads, get their emails, craft emails, send emails. All those tasks today can be automated. So if you're seeing that across your team, you can help them by making an assessment of the tasks that are more impactful in the times that they are using today, so they can recover that time and invest it in other tasks that be more relevant and will generate more revenue to you. The other issue is that more than 50% of the reps don't hit quota. And that's because there's no consistent system for all companies to generate revenue. So if each rep will have their own process, their own system, their own tools to be able to get you leads, you won't be able to systematize, you won't be able to share insights with other members of your team. And that's why you will see like a huge difference between your top performers and the ones that are not hitting quota. The other issue is that 65% or more of reps are considering that your admin tasks that you ask them are too complicated. Get a data, then qualify the lead, then drop it in the CRM, then, create a personalized message, send it to the lead, register all that in the CRM. Every time they book a meeting, register in the CRM. You can do that, but all those tasks can be fully automated, and you can help them to focus on the main tasks that add value for that role. That is actually nurturing those conversations by being able to assess the problem of your leads, being able to create content and send them messages and follow up in the correct timing. So what are the 3 pillars here that you can do to achieve the goal of the title of this workshop? That is 10x your reps results, your revenue. There are 3 main pillars that you need to know. The first one is efficiency. So if you're able to decrease the amount of time that you invest in this data-intensive work and replace it by more selling time, you will be able to increase the result by 3 or 4x. That's huge. That's a lot. That's probably worth it just by implementing some workflow that can decrease the amount of tasks that they do, so they can increase the amount of leads that they can process. That's gonna give you a lot of results. But if that's not enough for you, then you can also focus on efficacy, and in that case, having more accurate data. Targeting people that are more aware of your brand, or people that are more ready to buy, will increase you for sure the amount of leads that you close. So that will increase not only the closing rate, but also the time to close. So that will increase the revenue by speeding up the process that you close leads. So that's another way that you can increase revenue in a certain period of time. If you only focus on that, probably you will also increase the revenue of your reps just by giving them a list of more qualified leads, and that's all. But let's talk about the last topic, that is pricing. If you're able to stand in the audience as a thought leader, you will be able to increase the perception of likelihood of achieving the result with your service or product. So, if you're able to position your reps as thought leaders, they will be able to close more leads at a higher price. So if you increase the price, you will also increase the revenue at the end, maintaining the same deals, maintaining the amount of deals. So just by a combination of these factors, you will be able to 10x. In this case, it's an example. You increase the amount of leads that they process by 4x. You increase the efficacy of closing those leads by 2x. And if you increase the pricing by 55%, then you'll achieve this 10x revenue multiplication. And that's what we are looking for. I'm reading the chat now. Fahad, hello, this is Fahad Rahim from Pakistan. I have been working the CRM for the last 1 year, but I want to upgrade my skill, and I found Clay, which can help me more in the longer run. Yeah, for sure. Clay is a great way to upskill and be able to achieve better jobs, but also it's a great way to stand out in the audience, because in the crowd, I mean, if you're looking for a job or you are trying to increase the revenue of your company, that's a great way. Now, you need to be able to know how to use Clay. Continue with that previous breakdown of how you can 10x your reps. I can tell you that in the companies that we implement Clay, they came from this first part of the slide, that is, before Clay automation, they were investing a lot of time into researching new leads every day. They were investing a lot of time in these data entry tasks that are filling up the CRM, being able to create messages, send the messages, and they were getting like 40% of leads poorly qualified. That means that every rep will have a different criteria to qualify the leads, but also you will notice that even though they have like a qualification playbook or a qualification process, sometimes since you're trusting on people, people get tired. People get exhausted. They have an issue with their family. So in those situations, the qualification also decrease the quality of the qualification decreases. But after implementing Clay, I've been able to use Clay with a lot of other tools, of course, you will recover a lot of time. You've recovered the time that you invest into finding more leads. You recover the time that you invest in creating copy, in filling up the CRM, being able to create reports for the account executives, and increase the quality of the leads. So just like in this case in particular, for a team of 10 reps, they were able to save up to $150,000 annually in what they were paying for the reps. So just to put it in other words, if you know about the Pareto rule, 20% of the actions that you do in general, I mean, in this case, it's in lead gen, probably are delivering you 80% of the results. But if the other 80% are not delivering results, why are you doing that? You can automate that. And if you automate that, you will be able to increase the amount of leads that you have. So that's the best thing that I would do if I were in a place of managing a team of reps. That is decreasing the amount of time that they're investing in tasks that are not generating value and that can be automated. So I know that it's not easy. That's not something that you can do in one day or another. You need to be able to create a new culture inside the company. So starting from a tip here that we always give to our clients, start by assessing what they are spending their time on. If they are spending more time on qualification, if they are spending more time on sourcing leads, if they are spending more time on copywriting, if they are spending more time on whatever task that takes them more time and is more painful for them, you can start by helping them automating this task, and they will be pleased to hear that you're going to help them to recover that time to invest in the other tasks that actually are going to help them hit the quota. So That's kind of the first step there. But also, you need to be able to craft a culture in which you empower them to use these automations, use these tools. So every time you create a new automation, you need to show them how it works. You need to show them the results that you can get. You need to show them where you are getting the information from so they can trust the system. You need to invest in their education so they are aware of what they're doing and they are aware as well on how they can spend the new hours that they recover. And you need to reward them for being able to improve the results and being able to use the automations in your company's favor. So that's a culture work that you need to do as a leader, but I can tell you that the results are gonna be there for you if you are able to empower your team to implement AI and automations. Now, let's talk about the 4 tasks that in general an SDR or a BDR do on a daily basis. They are sourcing, enriching data, scoring, and engaging. So if we focus on each of them, we're gonna see how Clay can help you. For instance, I'm gonna give you some examples here. Sourcing. If you are currently sourcing leads from Sales Navigator, from Apollo, you are leaving a lot of money in the table. Because instead of setting up one only sourcing point, let's say Apollo, that might be really interesting, but once you source all the companies, all the leads are qualified for you, then you won't get more companies in the short term. In Clay, what you can do is, instead of just focusing on the qualified companies, focus on the triggers, on the sales signals, intent signals that will gonna bring you more qualified, ready to buy leads. So you can, for instance, scrape people that are reacting to your competitors' content. That's what we did in the last workshop. Scrape job posts and analyze if they are expanding, if this job position means that the company is expanding. So then you can find the decision maker of that company that have budget. You can scrape change roles. So if anyone is changing roles, probably they have a budget to invest in this new role. So instead of focusing on the qualified leads that you also need to have that list, you can source based on actions, based on sales intent triggers. So that helps you to create an automatic sourcing of leads that you don't need to manage anymore. So once you set it up, it's gonna be running on autopilot for you. Enriching. If you are reaching using Apollo or using Lucia or using any other tool to find emails, you will probably notice that you won't be able to find the emails for all the leads. That's why Clay has developed this waterfall enrichment in which you can have connected to the same database as many data providers as you like. So you can run a waterfall enrichment that will gonna find the email using the first data provider that can be Apollo, for instance. If Apollo doesn't find the email, you can run the second one that can be Prospeo. If Prospeo doesn't find it, you can run the Tagma. You can find email, you can find ICPs, and so on until you finally find the email of that lead. By doing that, you will be able to increase the coverage and you're gonna do it on autopilot in no time. So once you set it up, this waterfall enrichment with the data providers that you like, you just leave it running and you forget about taking out a CSV, upload it into another tool, then validating the email, then scraping that email that you don't have from other tool, and so on. That takes you a lot of time. Instead, invest that time into being able to nurture leads properly, being able to create something valuable for them, create lead magnets, create tutorials, create solution that helps them for free or with a lower cost, so you have an entry point. Scoring. Once you set up the enrichment process, you can in Clay as well score leads using two functions. Using formulas as you would do in spreadsheets or in Excel that can score leads based on any criteria that you like. For instance, you enrich a company with their firmographic data to get their revenue, their technographics, also the size of the company, and then you create your own qualification process based on that of that information. You can set up a column in Clay to run it automatically. If it is a formula, it's gonna run for free. But you can also have the possibility to implement an AI that's gonna read all the company description, the company website, and can analyze something that is not you're not able to do it just by using keywords. So you're able to set up a qualification process in Clay that's gonna normalize the qualification across all your reps, so you don't have to trust each rep criteria, but instead agree with them what's gonna be the qualification process and implement it for all the leads that you have. And lastly, in engagement, what you can do in Clay is, first of all, connect the leads that are qualified to a sequence tool. That can be Smart Lead instantly, can be Headreach, can be GetSales, can be any tool that you like that have an API endpoint. You are able to send data from Clay to that tool. But also, you can send that data to your CRM. So every time you send an email and you receive a reply, you can send that reply back to Clay to analyze the sentiment of that reply and send it to your CRM so your reps can have the information in there. And also, you can send them a Slack notification to jump in a conversation to call them when you find a really hot lead. So you can automate all those tasks, and I'm skipping content creation, but now you're able to create AI personalized messages. You're able to create content, LinkedIn posts, for instance, based on sales transcripts, based on what other competitors are posting, based on blog posts, based on whatever that you like, to start scaling the opportunity for the reps. I mean, position themselves as thought leaders. So, as I told you recently, you can do that. You can implement the amount of results that you're getting from your reps. And if you're not doing it right now, your competitors are, and you are leaving a lot of money in the table, and they are taking it for you. So, if they are automating that process, probably with the same effort that you are, they're getting 2x more pipeline, they're getting higher conversion rates. With the same team, they're getting more revenue. And so today is the time to invest in it. It's not tomorrow. You need to do it today because this is a huge opportunity for you to start investing in AI-powered workflows instead of manual processes. So today I'm gonna show you a demo. We're gonna build together a workflow that can help you to mine your reps' warm network for finding ready-to-buy leads. So if you were thinking about ways that can be a low-hanging fruit for you, this is one of the most useful cases we always recommend. If your audience is in LinkedIn, probably this workflow would be too effective for you that you will have it running once per quarter or once per month. So this workflow starts by scraping the first three connections of your team. And if you haven't thought about it, probably right now you're realizing that among your first three connections, you have a lot of people that you don't know who they are. Or you have a lot of people that you know who they are and you engage with them before, but you forget about following up properly. So we're gonna grab that first three connections. We're gonna find the conversation that you have with them. We're gonna qualify the leads using a unified qualification process. We're gonna generate personalized follow-ups. We're gonna send those follow-ups to a sequence tool. So in order to do that, you will need to use Clay to upload that CSV of first reconnections, to be able to qualify leads as well. We're gonna use Prospeo to enrich their profiles and enrich company profiles. And we're gonna use OpenAI to be able to analyze the sentiment of the conversations. And finally, we're gonna use GetSales to send those qualified leads into our workflow. So as you'll notice, we need to orchestrate 3 different tools and Clay, of course, in the same workflow. And that's why Clay is so important, because Clay will give you the capability to orchestrate sourcing, enrichment, processing, and integration all in the same platform in a way that's easy to use, and you can use AI to be able to deploy this workflow really, really fast, as we're going to show you today. So let's build that workflow together. First step, you need to get your first reconnection. So if you want to get your first reconnections in LinkedIn, you need to go to settings on your profile, then get a copy of, go to data and privacy, then click on get a copy of your data. And you will get something like, you'll get something like this file here. In this file, you will have a lot of different CSVs, like the ones that we're gonna use, connections, and of course the other one that we're gonna use, that is messages. This one. So if you click on any of those, say connections, you're gonna get a list of all your connections. Now I'm gonna show you how you can do it in Clay. So when you create a new table in Clay, first of all, you're gonna see like a blank sheet like this one, and you will start with importing that CSV. So you need to click on import CSV, select the CSV that you're gonna need to import. Let's say it's connections. After you click on import, you're gonna see that the table is created, and you're gonna see a table like this one. LinkedIn will prepare this document, and will add you like these 2 rows that are gonna be empty for you. Clay take it as the title of the columns, but this is off. That's why I will always recommend you to go to Google Spreadsheets and then import the CSV here first. In here, import it, and then delete the first rows. Delete the columns that you don't need to see, like these ones, and then you can download it as a CSV again, and go back to Clay. And now, if you import it again, add a new table here with a CSV, you're gonna see that the problem will be solved. So this is the first step here, uploading your first reconnections into Clay. Now you have your first reconnections. If you want to be able to parse the conversation that you have with them, okay, now we have first name, last name, URL, company, position, connected on. We need to be able to see the messages. So there's another CSV here that is called messages, this one, that if you load it into Clay, let's delete the other one we're not gonna use it. You're gonna get these messages. And here you're gonna find that each message is a message that you send or receive from a lead. So by being able to get the messages here, you will be able to parse the full conversation. How? By using the same LinkedIn here URL. So you have sender profile and you have recipient profile. So you know that in this case, I send a message to Michaela that has this LinkedIn URL, and this is the message. So if I want to parse this conversation in Clay, I would just need to go into Clay, click on insert one column on the left, add enrichment, and we're gonna use the enrichment that is called lookup for multiple rows in another table. So by clicking on that, you're gonna create a new enrichment that's gonna retrieve you all the messages that you get from that lead. So let's call it sender messages because we're gonna retrieve only messages that we send. So now you're gonna select here the table that is the messages table, and we need to map the sender profile URL, and it should be equal to here the URL of their profile. Let's run it so we can check it out. Now Clay has created that column for you, and it's gonna find the message that we sent to that lead. Maybe we don't send any messages to this lead. Now let's create a copy of this, but instead of sender messages, we're gonna retrieve the recipient messages. So you can change here recipient profile URLs that match the same URL. Let's run it. This is a free enrichment, by the way. You can run it at scale. So now let's run all of them since it's free. So maybe we can find some results here. All right, by the way, now we're here having some results. As you can check here, we have 3 records, 1 message, second message. Where's the message? Okay, here it is. And that's the third message. So here are the messages that they sent us, and here are the messages that we received from them. All right, so I see a question in the chat. How did you import LinkedIn connections from LinkedIn? Okay, so in order to import your first-degree connections from LinkedIn, you need to go to settings on your LinkedIn profile, and then you need to go to data and privacy on the left bar, and you're gonna find a button that says copy your data or copy something like that. And LinkedIn will tell you that you need to wait like 45 minutes or something like that. They're gonna send you an email when this database is already it's ready to download, and then you can go back to the same page, and you're gonna find a URL to download this same data set. That is basic LinkedIn data export at the date of it, and you're gonna find all this CSV inside it. Also, if you want to automate this, you can do it using tools like Enrich or GetSales. So you can keep your first reconnections fresh, so you don't need to upload your first reconnection after a while. All right, happy to help, Bernard. Okay, now that you have the conversation you have with them, let's go into the second step. That is, okay, reading through past conversations to understand context and relationship strength. Do you take in mind that if you want to do this manually, it can take you a lot of time? That's why I'm putting you here some idea of how much time would it take you to do that. So instead of investing that time into that, as you can see here in a few seconds, I could get a conversation here. And if I want to analyze the conversation, I'm going to show you how to do it. But first of all, let's qualify those leads. So in order to qualify the leads, I'm going to need to get more information about their profiles. So the enrichment that is useful to get you that is this find work email enriched person from LinkedIn from Prospeo. We strongly recommend you to use this enrichment because you will get not only the profile of the person, but also the company profile, and you will also get their email. All of that for 2 credits or for 1 API token if you are subscribed to Prospeo as well. So now here you're gonna see that the input needed is a professional LinkedIn URL that we already have it. So we don't need to do anything more. Let's continue. Let's save. Let's run 10 rows. So we're going to see the result here. And based on the result, for instance, this guy, we get their email. We have the first name, last name. We have the job title. That is, you see here in the data set, probably since this data set is old, I mean, I grab an old data set to show you. The position it's enterprise account executive, but now it's a strategic account executive. Maybe he changed roles. So you need to keep your data fresh, and that's gonna be Prospeo gonna help you to do that. Because every time you send an API call to them, they retrieve you a fresh data from LinkedIn. It's not like they have a database, they share with you that. So now that you have the information about their profile, you can also have the information about the company. You can create your own qualification process. So let's say I would like to qualify based on company size. I would also like to qualify based on the industry and location. That might be also interesting for me. And of course, job title. So now we have all the data to be able to craft our own qualification process. So for the qualified leads, we're gonna then segment them into one segment is people that are qualified, but you haven't reached out to them before. The other segment would be people that are qualified, but you have a previous conversation with them. And the last segment, of course, is the disqualified ones. So I would like to create a qualification process fast here, so I can use formulas. And here I can describe in natural language what I want to achieve. So I want something like output true if, say, job title contains any of founder, account executive, SDR, BDR, development representative. This is the same process that you do in any other filter column in Apollo, in LinkedIn, in Lucia, in Sales Navigator, using the keywords to find their job titles and qualify it based on job titles. And this is for free. You can run this for free in Clay. And you can also add another condition. And you can map here country is equal to United States, for instance. And you have another condition that might be industry does not contains staffing or recruiting. And we can add a last condition that might be size is not 1 to 10. So this is fine. Okay. If you click on generate formula, this will create you a fixed formula in here that you can check it out. Of course, if you don't know how to code, probably you won't understand it, but that's the best benefit of Clay is that you can check out the results in here. So you have a sample of outputs. So you have the job title, you have the country, you have the industry, and you have the size. This guy is not working for a company, this is recruiting or staffing. He is in the United States. The company is not it's not from 1 to 10 in employee size, and it has the job title account executive. So that might be true. For the other ones, it's false, and that's also true. I mean, we don't have anyone from the United States here. So let's click on output is correct, and you're gonna find your first qualified leads here in no time. Now, if you agree with that qualification process, you can run as many rows as you like. Let's run 200 rows, starting from row 11. So you get a much larger data set. And it's gonna wait a second here, and you're gonna have a list of qualified leads. In the meantime, I'm gonna check out The chat here. How many messages per account can be sent avoiding the platform rules? You mean LinkedIn? If it is LinkedIn, you can send up to 40 connections requests per day, 200 per week. But that's actually depends on how warm up is your account. I would recommend you to check out GetSales. They have a warm up process. They have a system that every time you connect a new account, they will tell you how many connections you can send to keep your account safe. Roger, can you set this up for me? Okay, Roger, that's gonna be great. If you'd like to or help to do that, here's a link. Book a call with us. We're happy to help you do that. Going forward into this, now we have a list of qualified leads. Maybe they're not all qualified, of course, because you have a lot of people that might be just friends with you, or people that might be not in the industry that you like, or probably different ICPs because you used to work for another company. And that's fine, but you're gonna find a lot of leads that are qualified. And the important part here is that they will be aware of who you are, and you don't need to send a connection request for them to being able to start a conversation. So now let's filter them out. Here, you can click on filter on the column. This filter will be already created by it's checked. And now from 211 people, we have 10 qualified leads following this criteria. I mean, probably you have another criteria. I don't know the qualification process that you have. So if you need our help, as I told Roger, we'll be happy to help you. Book a call with us and we can help you understand what can be a great qualification process for you. Anyways, now we have a list of qualified leads. We can check it out. In this case, we don't have any conversation with them. So that make it even more interesting for you because you didn't even are aware of these leads. If we didn't have a conversation with them, it's because you haven't reached out to them. So you can activate those leads. But let's simulate that we have some of them that are qualified, that we have a conversation, so I can show you, for instance, these people here. We can check here. Now this one is qualified. Have here another one that might be just for the purpose of showing you an example. I'm gonna filter down, and now you're gonna see that for those two, you have conversations. So for the ones that you qualified and you have a conversation, you can create an AI column and prompt it to review the full conversation that I have with and map the person name. Here are the messages that they send me. Here are the messages that I receive from them. Okay. And then output the sentiment of the conversation using these tags. So you might be interested, not interested, hot lead, need follow up. I don't know, just making this up in this moment, but you will need to create your own tagging system. We have some of them that we can suggest you that we are using, of course, and we're using for some of the clients, but it depends on your system. So now Clay will create you a column with a new prompt. And in this prompt, you're going to select, in this case, a model that is GPT-4.1. And it's going to run these instructions. So you're going to review the first name, last name of the company, and then the message that they send, the message that we receive from them. And it's going to interpret the intent and engagement level. So the only thing that we need to check out here is the output. Here's the output format that is the sentiment tag. You can change it. You can change the output if you like. You can change the prompt. You can change anything in here. But let's save it and run for these 10 rows. It should only run for the ones that you have a conversation. So as you can see here, for the ones that we didn't have a conversation, it would say some inputs are missing, but the ones that are you had a conversation, it can tell you that they are interested. So now you are able to disaggregate them in two categories. Like I told you, you are able to qualify them, they feed the ICP, you had a conversation, now let's create a follow-up message. So using Clay as well, you can create an AI column here, and you're gonna tell something like, create me a really short conversational follow-up message to send to this person name based on the previous conversation that I had with them. And then you map the conversation, and finally end the message with a question. Of course, this is really something I can create really fast, but if you want to deploy a really effective copy, you need to invest some time and iterate a bit until you're satisfied with the result. But now, as you can see, we are deploying something that you can create as a really fast step to deploy an MVP, so you start seeing the results of it. Now, of course, it's gonna run only for the ones that we have a conversation. We need to check out the messages. Message: since the Clay event might grow the GTM community more size by year end, are you planning to attend or interested in meeting some local experts here? I mean, probably this guy is asking about let's check it out. Have a conversation. Thanks your interest in the Clay expert template library of the okay, so we have that. We have a small group, we're running Clay events. So we're talking about the Clay events, probably the ones that we hosted in Buenos Aires last year. So that's why the follow-up is related to that message. We have here as well the message that they sent to us. Appreciate. Let me know, is there a GTM community there? So they're talking about the community, and now the message is related to the community. Same here. Just following up on the weekly Clay workshop link I shared, do you have the chance to register for the session? So this is a really cool way to keep nurturing your leads over and over again. And you can create a nurturing system that can process leads once per quarter, so you keep in their mind by adding them value. You can provide them a lot of things in their copy. For the ones that you haven't engaged before, you can repeat the same process here, but instead of sending them the information about the conversation, you can use only the profile. So you have all the profile, and you can create an icebreaker based on what you see on their profile using the same process. And for the ones that you already built the message, you can connect whatever tool. In this case, we're using GetSales. So you can send leads to GetSales. You need only the URL, first name, last name. This is a template that we create in our instance. If you want to connect GetSales, you need to create your own system, but you have an adding integration with HeyRich, Lemlist, and Legro Machine in Clay. So that would be easier to set up if you like. But you can call this send to GetSales. And now you just need to select the list UID in GetSales of the automation. And after selecting it, you can run this, and you're gonna start sending those leads into that automation. You can even send the same message. You can parse the message here and change it to be that one. So you're gonna need to add another line in this JSON file to add that message, but that can be customized. So what you have seen is a complete end-to-end workflow that qualify leads, grab the conversation, create follow-ups, send those conversation, orchestrate 5 different tools in the same platform. You save a lot of time, you recover a lot of leads you were unveiling a lot of leads that you weren't aware of. So next step for you, if you like to also qualify leads, I'm gonna share with you on the PDF here that you're gonna receive after the call, a list of 100 ideas on how to qualify leads and companies in Clay using the data that I showed you today. So start implementing that, start qualifying the leads that you have on your first degree connections. That's a low-hanging fruit that most companies aren't doing, and you can do it. If you want to join our community, if you want to ask us to anything, here's a link to join our community. We're happy to help you. But take in mind that you have two paths today. One is keep doing what you're doing, keep doing manually, but you're gonna fall further behind. Or you can start automating your tasks. You can start with this workflow or with another workflow, but by starting implementing this type of workflows, you will increase the pipeline, you will increase revenue of your company for sure. I can tell you that we have seen companies that have increased their revenue by 2x, 3x, 7x if they are able to successfully create this type of workflows. So we have an offer for you as well. If you like to book a call with us, in that call, we're going to focus on the low-hanging fruit for you. We're going to build that workflow that as in the time that we have in that call. And as well, if you like to have a personalized coaching process, we have a coaching program that you can participate as well. We have as well a done for you service, so we can implement this workflow for you. And as well, we have a playbook in which we describe how you can use Clay, and this is really powerful as well if you want to go in a do-it-yourself type of path and learn in a structured and comprehensive way. All right, we have 5 minutes for questions. I'm happy to address any of your questions. By the way, thank you so much for staying until the end of the workshop. We have a question from Brenda. Where do we download? What do you mean, the 100 ways to qualify leads? I can share it with you that after the call. I'm gonna share that in a follow-up email. Okay, you want to get the playbook. Okay, so let me share with you the link to get the playbook. What's that link? Share that playbook. So here in this link, I'm gonna share that you can get a free copy of the first chapter of the playbook, and if you write me to my email, that is this one, I can send you a discount code to get 20% off for that playbook. How to join a community? Saying you can join from specific domain. All right. Let me check out. Maybe that link is off. You another one. Find it. Send me an email. I'm gonna send you the personalized invite. Okay. All right. I'm gonna add you to the community as well. All right. Leave me your emails. I'm gonna send you a personalized invitation to the Slack community. Sorry for the inconvenience with the link. Maybe got old. We need to renew it. Thank you so much for giving me the feedback. Hope you had a great weekend today, starting today, so we can chat later. All right. If you don't have any more questions, I'll be happy to send you through email the presentation, the recording as well later. If I remember you that if you want to book a call with us and discuss what we've seen today, what can be a best way to apply to your company, just click on the link on the screen and you're gonna see a Calendly link. You're gonna just need to fill out the form and you can book a call with us. All right, Alex, thank you so much. All right, guys, have a great weekend. See you next one. Bye-bye.